are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome to the Bradford City Vs Wycombe / other city stuff live on Twitter and soon to be on the podcast. Joined by lovely Diana and Wycombe, Wycombe journalist Harry.
Yeah, pretty like that, I think.
I think that's right, innit?
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on what's the perspective of, should we say, what's the team like from Wycombe?
Going into tomorrow or just across the season?
Across the season and going in tomorrow.
Um, Across the season, a lot changed because we had a massive summer window. We had a new manager come in, Matt Bloomfield, and he made a lot of changes. And we're playing a completely different style of football. I think a lot of teams think we play hoofball, which we don't anymore. We play a lot more on the ground, a lot more sort of control, possession based, and that's the sort of players he's brought in to suit that as well. I think going into tomorrow won't be too much change because Matt Bloomfield likes to take the competition seriously, the cups in particular. There'll be one or two, there always is, but he likes to sort of build up winning mentality, and I think you'll see that tomorrow. But it's not going to be easy against you guys because obviously we know what you're like in the cup. I know you struggled a bit this season, but it'll be exciting, I think.
Because looking over the past games we've played Wycombe, so going from 2010 to 2019, Wycombe have won 1-0, Bradford then have won 1-0. February 2013, Bradford won 3-0. 19th of March 2013, Bradford won. 25th of August 2018, Wycombe won. And then 2nd of February 2019, Bradford City drew 0-0 with Wycombe. And with the team, Harry, who's the main threat for Wycombe?
Main threat, yeah, it really depends when you put. I mean, yeah, I'd say there'll be changes. I think our sub-keeper Franco Vavasoria will play in goal, but apart from that, it'll probably be just for one or two changes at the back. Sam Votes is injured; he won't play. So I think if Dale Taylor plays, he's a threat. He's quick on the ball, gets in behind a lot. Freddie Potts is one to look out for as well. He's on loan from West Ham. He played in Europe for West Ham last season. He just sees the game differently. I'd probably say he's the best midfielder in League One. We won't have him next season. He'll probably be playing for West Ham next season, and he just sees the game differently. He can play a pass that no one else sees. He just looks so composed on the ball. I think he'll be the main threat. But it really depends on the team. But if he plays, he'll probably be the main threat for you guys.
So looking at the stats from Foot Mob, sorry. Luke Leahy.
Yeah, Luke Leahy. Yeah, he's been very good. Very good player. He signed in the summer from Shrewsbury. We actually bought him from Shrewsbury, which is rare for us to spend money on players. And he's been a really good signing. He's playing more centre half now. He's a midfielder. He's been playing centre half on that left side of the three for us. We play about 5 usually. And yeah, he's scored a few penalties, but he's another one where he's just solid on the ball. He's experienced as well. So yeah, he's been a great signing for us. And like you said, he's got the best rating this season. And yeah, he's been a big signing for us as well.
Because looking at it, he's your top goal scorer on 5, his assist on 4, and goals plus assists together he's scored 9 altogether. So he seems a threat if he does. Do you reckon he'll play tomorrow?
I think he will, yeah. I think the goals will be because he did play midfield for the first 3 games. I don't think goals will be a threat from him tomorrow if he plays, because it will only be from like a penalty or free kick. Really. That's where most of those will come from. But like I said, sort of on the ball he's brilliant, and a bit like Potts, he can sort of see it differently as well. But that's I think he will be one that does play, just because he's a bit more experienced as well. So he can be a threat, but he won't play in midfield where a lot of people expect him to. He'll probably be playing centre half, if not left back. He played left back on Tuesday night, so he'll probably be playing at the back in some sort of way.
And is there any like fresh injury concerns for Wycombe or anything, or any players like missing the game or anything like that?
Yeah, so Sam Vokes won't play. He got injured against Cambridge, so he definitely won't play. Jack Grimmer won't play. He's out as well long term. But I think, relatively speaking, we're injury free. It's just those two really. Vokes is a massive miss. He's not a regular starter anymore, but he just brings something different to us. Yes, we're sort of a team who plays it on the floor, but when we do want to go long in the last few minutes as well, he's a brilliant player to have up top. I mean, I know he's getting on a bit, but he still is that Sam Vokes that was in the Premier League. He's that same sort of player. He's just a lot slower now, so he can still cause a threat. So yeah, he's a miss, but he does bring something else to it as well.
So Sam Vokes, 34-year-old. He's played at Lincoln, Leyton Orient, Burton, Bristol, Sutton, Northampton, Blackpool, Charlton, Carlisle, Portsmouth, Fleetwood, Peterborough, Bolton Wanderers, Oxford, Cambridge, and now at Wycombe. So, Diane, what's your thoughts on the game tomorrow?
I think we might win it. I'm hoping that we start really good as usual, like we do, and I think we might win it. If we play like we did on Tuesday night, or the players that get picked play like they did on Tuesday night. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be through to the second round.
Is it replays tomorrow, or is it straight knockout?
I think there's replays, yeah.
Replays. So looking at the referee for tomorrow is a guy called Declan Bourne. And he has had a couple appearances in the EFL Trophy where he's booked 3 people. He's not given anybody a second yellow card or a red card, but he's given 1 penalty. He's refereed in League One, where he's 2 appearances. He's given out 11 yellow cards, no second bookings, no red cards, no penalties. In League Two, his appearances 5. He's giving out 22 yellow cards. He's giving out one second yellow for a red, 1 red card, and 2 penalties. 2 penalties. Altogether, he's given 35 yellow cards, 1 second yellow, 1 red, and 3 penalties. So what's your thoughts on the refereeing situation, guys?
Evening, guys.
Evening.
This sounds like there's a certain way of playing in League Two, doesn't it? If the games that's the way the games have fallen in terms of like League One. But there's a kind of cynicism about League Two, isn't there? And at the start of the season, when they were talking about the time wasting and ball in play, League Two had the fewest amounts of minutes that the ball was in play. Now, obviously, a lot of the time the ball will go out, but it also does suggest that teams come and shithouse. So, are there more professional fouls? Are there fouls for time wasting? So that could be a factor. Sounds like he doesn't particularly dish him out, I guess. But I have a question for is it Harry, the Wycombe fan?
Yeah.
What's your team's recent record against kind of teams below in terms of like, you know, how have you approached games? Have you generally won as many as you lost? Have you got a kind of, you know, have you put first like stronger sides out? How's it kind of panned out for you guys recently?
Yeah, it's a weird one. I was on about this on a podcast yesterday. We were doing on the Wycombe side of things. It's like I said, Matt Winfield, our manager, likes taking the competitions a bit more seriously than I think we have done in the past. So he does put strong teams out against lower league sides. I just think it's been a bit 50-50 whether we've beaten teams below us or considered weaker than us when it comes to quality. Because I feel like sometimes, you know, we might play in Oxford or Portsmouth where we'll be more motivated for it. And we get a good result, maybe a draw and take a point away. But when we play with teams lower than us, and nowadays with the Wycombe, we've got that when we're trying to push for a championship, we're expected to beat them. We don't tend to do it convincingly or with fouls. So we like putting a strong team out. We like building that winger mentality that you like to have at Winfield, but sometimes it's not convincing. It won't be a high score line tomorrow. That's what I'd say.
So, from your point of view, is that down to mentality, which all teams suffer from that mentality when they play lower teams, or does it maybe come down to like the style of playing League Two? Is kind of, you know, how have you lost to teams? Have you lost to teams that have been surprisingly good, or have you just been kind of almost outmuscled in these games that you've kind of lost at lower placed teams?
I think it's a combination. I think sometimes we can be complacent, but also, you know, that old Wycombe we're used to, where it's a bit more direct, a bit more, you know, when we used to have Akinfenwa, we'd just lump it up to him sort of thing. We're not like that anymore. We're more of a team who plays on the floor, and I think we're not used to facing teams who do what we did in the past. And sometimes that can be a barrier because we're not used to that sort of thing. We're usually the team doing that rather than the other way around. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah, that is an interesting one, because I think for us from last season, when we played League One sides, I think obviously we've had people's opinions on Mark Hughes, etc. But I always felt that when we played against League One side or a lower mid-championship side, we played better because our style of play kind of was suited more towards a footballing side. I mean, against Middlesbrough, they basically outclassed us in every department. They were just so much better. So yeah, that'd be an interesting thing tomorrow. I'd be interested to see how the teams play against each other. What's anyone else's thoughts?
I'm hoping we do win tomorrow. I think we're going to win 1-0. And I think Andy Cook's somehow, some miracle, going to score a goal. And then we'll just defend and hopefully win.
Yeah, let's just hope for that, for the win. Like you say, Cookie getting back on the scoring trail like he normally does. I'm going 2-1.
I think the interesting thing from our point of view is how Truman plays under his own kind of, because when he's been on the touchline, he's had the it was basically Ken McDonald, wasn't it, who was managing the team, so he was dictating the tactics, whereas it's down to Truman. So that will be interesting to see how he does play, because obviously when he was when him and Sellers managed, he obviously had a partner, I guess, a bit like the Cowleys. And then when he's been on his own, it's not been quite as good. But then I suppose he's been put in situations where the team probably hasn't been performing anyway. So I think the win on Tuesday night has maybe kind of hopefully alleviated that little part of it. But so I would be interested to see how we play, whether we will play kind of nearer to how we played under Big Kev, or, you know, is it something going to be nearer towards Mark Hughes, or is he just going to lump it up front? I don't know. Any thoughts, anyone?
I can't remember how we played last time. Did he hump it up front last time, or would it like pass about? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it was a mix, but to be fair, I don't think like for a long time that we've been that many games where we scored 2 or 3. Really, there's always been by the odd goal. And so I don't think as a side we've got it in us, and especially not against a side like Wycombe, you know, who obviously are a decent side in the league above. So I can't. I think it's going to be by the odd goal if we win. And from our point of view, we're obviously hoping that Wycombe have one of those days, as every club that's higher up does, that they you know, kind of take the lower league side for granted. But so I honestly don't know. I mean, it's like going back. We played some okay stuff, I think, under Truman and Sellers, but for the first, as was mentioned yesterday, the first half of their sort of stint, they won quite a few. But then the thing I remember about that, and obviously it's been a few years, so, you know, allow sort of Truman to have kind of developed in that respect. But the thing I found was when we did start losing is that he didn't know how to change a game. And I remember him being interviewed afterwards, and it's clear that he was very much like a modern juniors coach, where it's all kind of by the book. But perhaps had he maybe played the game at a particular level, that may have sort of kicked in, and where you can kind of see what's going on and what you need to do to change it. So I'll be interested to see. So I think I can't predict it tomorrow. I think that's testament to maybe ourselves, but also with the notion that you don't know what kind of Wycombe's going to turn up tomorrow.
So looking at the TNA in the article they've put out, Team News, Matty Platt has recovered from his toe injury against Sutton. Tyler Smith is pushing for start following his EFL Trophy hat-trick. And then Team News for Wycombe, striker Sam Vokes is out with a hamstring injury, but Joe Lowe is available after serving a one-game ban. So, let's go to the Parader. He's got something to say, and Miss Kelly. You got something you want to say, Cal? Hey up. We're having technical difficulties again, Kelly.
You know me, don't you?
She's there.
There's fireworks going off mental down here as well, so dog will probably start soon as well.
Have you got any thoughts on the game, Cal?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Have you got any thoughts on the game?
Wait, for tomorrow?
I ain't got my king.
For tomorrow, yes, for tomorrow.
I can't call this one tomorrow. The thing is, tomorrow's not going to be no atmosphere, is there? Because they've not opened the full ground for a start, which I don't think helps with games. I think it's going to be a tough game for us tomorrow, and I think I'm going to draw tomorrow. I think we'll be lucky to get a draw.
And what about you, Paredes? What's your thoughts on the game?
Hiya, can you hear me all right?
Can hear you, bud. Loud and clear.
All right. I don't know. I think one thing I wanted to bring up is that I expect that a lot of pressure to be lifted off the team. You know, I feel like they're sort of, the mentality is going to be right. The pressure's not on the team right now, especially with everything they've gone through. In terms of result, I wouldn't be surprised if we win, but I wouldn't say I'm expecting it. If we lost, I don't think I'd be too annoyed about that. I think I do feel for the lads in the way that they're going through a lot of change at the moment, and that could make things difficult for them. But at the same time, it's a cup hit. Just go for it. There's no pressure. Everyone's aware of what's going on, and I think it's a time for them to go out and enjoy themselves and maybe, potentially, show themselves. There's a high likelihood that potential managers are going to be there tomorrow. So I'd say, it's an opportunity for them to go out and show what they can do in an environment with probably slightly less pressure than usual.
And like when you're saying there, managers are going to say that's what I think people will be looking at tomorrow, won't they, when they come to the ground? Oh, is so-and-so here or is so-and-so here? So I know quite a few people are apparently boycotting the game out there and going to a different team in Bradford somewhere?
Yeah. Albion Sports.
Yeah, it is. I don't know how much I agree with that personally.
I don't.
It's for me, I would listen to the space last night, but I couldn't really speak that much. I get it. There's a lot going on, but at the end of the day, we're not Ryan Sparks supporters. We're not Mark Hughes supporters. We're not Andy Cook supporters. We're not Harry Lewis supporters. We support Bradford City, and I think we need to show that. That's my feeling. I can understand the frustration completely, but I just feel like not supporting the club's the wrong way to go about it.
Why are fans boycotting? I thought fans were boycotting the pizza trophy, not the FA Cup.
I think they're boycotting the whole club at the moment, or trying to.
Oh, right.
Is the way I've sort of interpreted it.
Because there's people on like social media, I think, planning to buy tennis balls and stuff, and they say, "No, we're going to go to this other team in Bradford. It's half price season. If it's half pricing or something, if you've got a season ticket, what?" I know they're trying to bring money into the club. That obviously that national, whatever team it is, National League North or South team.
I think they're playing Tadcaster Albion.
What's the deal with the tennis balls then?
Do you know, like when like Charlton and Reading and stuff like that, when they got a bit hacked off with the owners, they just started lobbing tennis balls on pitch, try to fans trying to frustrate. But I don't know how it works really. Just throwing tennis balls on, or surely add time and stuff to it all.
So with that, then they're thinking, right, okay, I'm assuming that they're trying to get the game disrupted or stopped. So as fans obviously complain about or kind of let teams know about the travel, how much they work all week and then put money into it, so they're going to just completely ignore Wycombe fans. Don't care about Wycombe fans. Don't care the fact that somebody's brought up the kid maybe for the first game. They're just going to do that because that's what they want to do. So, yeah.
Absolute idiots, aren't they?
They are.
I mean, they have a right to protest, and if that's what they want to do. But I think to kind of do anything disruptive, or to kind of not complain about there being no funds and then not come to the game. Yeah, I mean, it's to their own, but it's not for me. Going back to Charlie at the Paraders. So from what you're sort of saying, then tomorrow's pretty much a free game. Would you say that?
That's what I think. Yeah, I understand a lot of people want a cup run, and I'd appreciate a cup run, but we're not quite at the stage in the cup where the pressure's on. If you know what I mean.
Can you imagine how them players feel? If they read all these posts about boycotting and not turning up to games, can you imagine how that makes them feel? I mean, I know some of them just go out there for the wage. Majority, probably half the players will do that, but them that really want to play for our team, I can't imagine what they feel like. If
you mean like Bobby Poynton?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That wants to play for your hometown club.
I think the club though is missing an opportunity. So the FA Cup tickets, I think, were £15. £15. So there's quite a lot of things missing there, kind of thing. They should have lowered the price to about a tenner or so just to get the ground full.
Or done free kids. Do you know what I mean? And that pay for an adult and get a free child. So, you know what I mean? Get the families involved again, because that's what we are. We're a family club.
With that though, I bet if we got Man United at home in the third round, that place is going to be full.
Yeah, would they boycott it then? Yeah. Pickle.
I mean, it's understandable because it's kind of, but yeah, maybe they could have incentivised it a bit better in that respect. So, sorry, I'm just eating my tea.
Sorry. So we've got Labib who wants to say something. I'll accept you now, Labib. Okay, Labib?
Yeah, hi, you're right. On the price of the tickets, I know it used to be the case, I don't know if it still is, but certainly with the FA Cup, the admission prices had to be agreed by both teams. I don't think that's the ruling with the League Cup, but as far as I know, FA Cup tickets had to be mutually agreed by both sets of clubs. Is that still the case?
I'm just going to put it in Google.
I mean, obviously, I think everyone's absolutely spot on. Mr. Trick should have had it at a £5 or whatever it is and get as many people in as we could. Personally, I think any home draw in a cup match is perfect. You can never ask for more than that. It's the first round. I don't know who people were expecting, really. So first round at home, that's the best you can hope for.
I think it's a decent enough tie, isn't it? Because like there's that whole thing of like you don't want to play something in your own league, and then there's always the banana skin of a lower team in a division or two below you. So I think my mate kind of said it, and it probably sums it up. I think Bradford City almost are better when we're underdogs. So I agree with Labib. I think it's a decent tie. And it'd be good to see kind of how far off we are, really, in terms of a decent League One side. So we've got a bit of radio silence here. So does anyone else have any thoughts with regards to... actually, another question for Harry, if I may. The injuries that you've got, or that Johnny read out earlier, or your injury news, is that going to affect you? Do you think, if that player's out, was scuppered, or does it not make a difference?
I don't think it's anything major. I was saying earlier about Sam Boach just giving us something different. If we need to switch, like what style we're going with. But he's the only major one, I think. Joe Lowe coming back, if he does play, he's massive for us. He's probably been our, when you're talking inform, our most informed player in the first couple of games of the season. So he'll be massive for us coming back. But I think only Boach really, just so we can swap up that style of play if we need to, depending on how Bradford's set up against us.
What's your thoughts on Bradford, Harry? Like the team, like reading the team news and stuff. Do you think you'll lose tomorrow, or do you think Bradford will win? Or
we're not confident, Wycombe fans. We're not confident about it tomorrow. I don't know.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Why? And I'm very similar. I'm not confident either, but I just think we see obviously Bradford struggling. I'd probably say struggling relative to the club they are. And we tend to struggle when it's that sort of thing, because obviously you guys will be a bit more motivated for it. It's a bit of a game where you got nothing to lose, probably, in a sense, and the players will be trying to play for it a bit more. But yeah, we're not that confident. I'm not sure what the reason for that is, but a lot of us aren't that confident.
Are you at the game tomorrow, Harry?
I won't be, unfortunately, but I know a lot of people that will be, and they've said they're just not confident going to it.
Okay. So I'm gonna move on a little bit for other City stuff. I know we did an hour and 45 minutes yesterday. So I know the Mr. Pareda has tweeted out a David Artell thread, and he could be a right appointment for City. So that I've retweeted that if people want to look at that. Bit of a plug for you there. Also, the Pareda is doing a post-match chat tomorrow. If you want to tune into there, time to be confirmed. So, anyone want to get the ball rolling on managers-wise? Who would you like as a manager?
I'd like to come in there, just given what you've just mentioned.
Go for it.
I think, I've seen a lot of people talking about Artell, and I'd seen the interview prior that I mentioned in my thread, but I didn't know much about him. And in researching him, I found out so much about him that's really interesting. And I think he may be a bit risky, in that he's only been at Crewe. But to me, what he's sort of shown he can do there is it ticks off a lot of boxes for things that fans want. And, what we sort of generally expect from the club or believe that we're lacking. So I think he's probably the best bet now for me. I don't know if anyone disagrees or agrees.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your thread now. Jacob has commented it wouldn't be Cowley, but that went balls up. So looking at your thread,
I'm blaming Charlie for that, because he did a detailed analysis of the Cowleys.
It's Charlie's fault.
Yeah, that's my fault. I mean, I put that analysis of the Cowleys out, and then he changed his mind, so he must have not liked it or something like that.
You must have missed something off, and he took umbrage with it. But no, it was very good analysis, actually. So
thank you, mate.
You're very welcome. I have to say as well, because I'm going to have to go now, but I thought yesterday's space was very good. In fact, I think there's been a very good set of quality spaces that we've had on here, and I think it's a testament to everybody that we're all kind of might have different opinions or whatever, but we've all got Bradford City at heart, and that shows from the people that are kind of contributing. But I think really high quality space yesterday, so it's brilliant to kind of be a part of it.
Yeah, just say thank you everybody for joining and the love and support you are giving. Like Stan, Diane, Callie, and a few other people, and Labib recently joined. And when I think this is the 12th episode, so I just want to say respect to everybody for joining. Thank you very much. So back on to the paraders. Just a quick snippet from one of his part of his thread. So below are Lucky's stats during his second full season at Crewe 2019-20 promotion winners. So he had shots on target 5.2, it's first. Big chances created 67, first. Goals per match 1.8, first. Average possession 58.3, first. Acute pass per match 37.9, first again. Stats galore there. Richard would love a bit of XG in there. So looking at that, I would agree with the parader. David Artell seems a good top manager. I think he'll do well for City. And what's everyone else's thoughts on David Artell? You got any thoughts, Diane, love?
No, not really, but he sounds like he's going to be a good manager if we get him.
If we get him, yeah. If, big word, if.
If he decides to come.
If he comes.
Yes.
So has anyone got
Hopefully
any
no more U-turns.
Yeah, we don't want any more family matters, do we?
Yeah, I was kind of on the same page, really, regarding Artell. I was actually, the lower league look, they were running a space, and it was the first time I'd kind of tuned into it. And it was literally on the same night that Mark Hughes got sacked. And it was we heard the announcement whilst we were actually on that space. And I think immediately David Artell's name was mentioned, and I'd never heard of him. I'll be completely honest. I think we've said this before. I think Stan has kind of made the same point. We know what goes off at our club, but me personally, I'm not really aware of what's happening at other clubs and who managers are and who players are. So name didn't mean anything to me. But the last couple of days, like has been said, I've been finding out more and more about him. And if anybody's had a chance to watch that interview that he's done with the lower league look, it's about an hour and 9 minutes. So it's not a short interview. He does go into a lot of detail, does Artell. And I just think he comes across as somebody who would do really, really well. So I won't kind of give you any spoilers. If you're, bored at the game tomorrow and you've not else to do, then tune in and listen to that interview. It really is good stuff.
It's brilliant in that interview. I can't speak highly about it. Yes.
Oh, I think Miss Callie wants to speak. Have you got any thoughts on it, Cal? It's that dial-up internet in Hucknall again. Are you there, Callie, love? Nope. I think we're having technical issues again with Callie's dial-up. So, just trying to find... Has anybody got any latest odds, possibly, on any managers?
Joey Barton's favourite now.
Yeah.
Somebody's obviously put 50p on that.
It wasn't me.
Do you know the Joey Barton thing? I'm just driving. I am sort of like, I've got both hands on the wheel, so I'm okay, guys. But I was watching Liam's show last night, and they were coming out with some of Joey Barton quotes that were taken from the dressing room, and it was embarrassing in terms of, he's always kind of come across as this sort of deep thinker or whatever, and it's almost like Mike Bassett levels of motivation. So I wouldn't want him anywhere near the club, to be honest.
So on Facebook, Kim Brown from Bradford City FC West County supporters on Facebook, she's put the current latest odds. So I'll just quickly go through them. There's Graham Alexandra 6-4, Joy Barton 4-1, Liam Richardson 6-1, Robbie Fowler, I think my personal choice. I hope he gets the job. David Artell 8-1, Dean Holden 12-1, Gareth Ainsworth 20-1, Saul Campbell linked to every Tom, Dick and Harry team 33-1, Sean Derry, Robbie Nielsen 33-1, Paul Tisdale 33-1, Paul Hartley 33-1, Neil Lennon 33-1, Nathan Rooney 33-1. Chu mentioned that yesterday on the special podcast we did yesterday. Apparently he's an up and coming manager. Matt Kennedy 33-1, and last but not least, Mark Jackson 33-1. Is anyone thoughts on the betting situation currently?
Well, obviously, I'm just releasing these threads so I can increase the odds and then cash out. But no, I think I don't know how much they are like. In terms of reading into them, because if you went and put 50 quid on like me, I'd probably go up in the odds. I don't know how reliable they are, because even yesterday, after the news came out about Cowley, I put another tweet out there, a bit of a shameless plug, sorry. But the odds, let me find this tweet. The odds, Danny Cowley was still 1-2, and that was later last night after the news had broke out that he definitely wasn't coming. So it's an interesting one, really. There's also Sam Allardyce on there, Benito Carboni's on there, who I'm going to go out and say please do not appoint him. I might annoy a lot of people by that, but I've seen a fair few people saying Benito Carboni should get the job. But if you actually look into the statistics and sort of his managerial career, he's not had the most success as a manager, so I wouldn't go for him. In terms of the odds, though, I don't know how much we can read into them, because
I think I think you're absolutely right. I've heard that because it's such a small market, any slightest small bet just massively changes the odds. So last night, David Artell was 33-1. And there was loads and loads of managers on 33-1, and I had a few quid on it, and then all of a sudden it dropped to 16-1, and then he went to 4-1. So somebody else has probably put another couple of quid on it, and like I said, small bets can really massively change those odds. So I think you're absolutely right. You can't really read a lot into that. Having said that, I think Danny Cowley is 11-10 to take the Lincoln job. Good luck to him there.
So, just to pee a couple of people off, this is from the Yorkshire Post, and this was sent out 2 hours ago. Ex-Man City and Newcastle United man emerges as new favourite for Bradford City job. And basically it's on about Joey Barton, 41-year-old, sacked by Bristol Rovers after nearly 3 years at the helm. Previously led Fleetwood Town, his retirement from playing. BetVics are offering 6-4 for Barton to become the new Bantam's boss. He sits narrowly ahead of ex-Milton Keynes Dons head coach Graham Alexandra, who was priced at 5-2. Robbie Fowler recently dismissed by Saudi outfit Al Kardashi is third favourite at 10-1. So odds are changing every day, aren't they? Probably every hour.
That's right. Joey Barton, I mean, I remember him playing, as I'm sure most of us can do, and it was just an absolute head case. There's no way I can take him seriously as a manager.
Is that the same person? Did he have a fight with Lee Bowyer, or did he have a fight with one of his teammates on the pitch?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, I think he kicked somebody, or he even kind of tried to punch them.
He's
In
also
fact, wasn't Joey Barton playing in that famous QPR Man City game when Man City scored that last minute Aguero goal and clinched the title? I'm sure Barton got sent off in that game.
He kicked out at Aguero.
Yeah, he got himself sent off. Didn't they? They
Yeah.
were down to 10. I think they were winning at the time.
Didn't he also stop his cigar in somebody's eye?
Yeah, on the training ground. Yeah, I think while he was a manager. Now, absolute, nut job, that lad.
He's he's the wrong type of person. You want somebody that's going to galvanise the team, don't you? You don't want somebody that's basically a loose cannon. And so, yeah, I mean, I think going back on the odds, do you think part of it as well is that there's a little bit of gamesmanship maybe with agents kind of boosting odds or something, or do you not think that they've got anything to do with it in terms of, because there's obviously media stories and a lot of that is maybe agents and managers themselves trying to get leverage?
I think there is. I think there's a lot of truth in that. Clubs may be influenced in some way by some of the betting odds. This guy's all of a sudden he's the favourite. Let's have a look at him, type of thing. So I think there might well be a lot of manipulation there.
So with the betting, is it saying, say you bet like 50p on somebody, then does it basically go down then? Like if someone bets on it, does the betting odds go down?
Yeah, the odds shorten, yeah. So like I said, last night, Artel was 33-1, and I think a couple of people put, a few quid on each, and then all of a sudden it went down to 16-1, and then it went down again to 4-1. But then I think tonight is lengthened again, so I think it's 8-1 at the moment. So it's all over the place at the moment. You can't really, as we've just said, read a lot into it.
I'm just trying to have a quick look at which teams have not got a manager. What's it going to be? I'll find it in a bit. So have you got anything you want to say on it, Callie, love?
Sorry, I've had problems getting back on. Ask me the question.
So we've just been on about Joey Barton and other managers. Just to say, what's your thoughts? Who would you like to manage?
Do you know what? After yesterday, I kind of Googled, and I've forgotten his name now off the top of my head. There was one that's just suddenly come into the play. You mentioned him yesterday.
That Rooney
That's
guy?
the one. Yeah, I'm quite. I don't know. I'm warming to him now after reading about him, and you know what I mean, and the way that he's been lately, and the way he's, clubs have come on. But then I started looking at Stuart McCall, and I know it sounds really bizarre, and I know he's been here 3 times, but he's got a lot more experience now, and he's done well at Sheffield United.
Yeah, but that's his assistant manager.
As assistant,
he's not actually he's assistant manager. He's not actually a manager, and you could, I don't know, tell me off or something here, but I don't want Stuart McCall.
No,
back.
I don't think I do. But when I was kind of reading about them all, and it's so hard, isn't it? It's so hard to try and think. Yeah, he would be brilliant. I don't think there is anybody that we can actually turn around and say, yeah, he would be absolutely fantastic. But I'm going more for Nathan Rooney at the minute. He's my favourite right now.
An interesting point, guys. We've spoken about Dave Artell and how he has an interesting way of looking at things, and I like that. I think that somebody that thinks about the game. I'm only going off, and I'm not obsessed with it, I promise you. But we've Paddy going on about clarity. How do you think somebody like that is going to communicate to essentially League Two players? I'm saying this as I like the concept and I like the idea that attracts me to a person in terms of the way that they think, and that they think not necessarily outside the box, but in a kind of mature way. Do you think somebody like that would be too much for some of our players?
Maybe it's what they need. Maybe they all need a big kick up the arse. Excuse my French, but I think they do. I think we need somebody that's going to be willing to take that risk. well, nothing else has worked lately, has it? Not since, 10, 15 years ago? We've not had a successful manager, I don't think, since the Parky and Jewel days.
Mm.
I was just thinking in terms of the players needing less of a kick in the arse, but the need. I mean, I'm picking on one player, and I think, that's kind of just one thing. But, from what people have said, it might be what we need in terms of, just somebody having a bit of intelligence, because we've got players that can respond to that, especially people like Big Kev, somebody like Jamie Walker or Harry Chapman or whatever. I'm sure they can, kind of learn from somebody like that. Any thoughts, guys?
We've had it before, though, haven't we? Derek Adams, the promotion king. We've had it with bloody.
Yeah, but Derek was a dinosaur, though, wasn't he? He wasn't somebody that kind of thought of the game. He was very much very functional. Whereas if this Dave Artell has kind of interesting ideas, that's kind of, I know what you're saying, because we've gone through the merry-go-round of managers, but I haven't looked into Dave Artell, but I will do at some point tomorrow morning, I think.
So do you think, looking at the hashtag now, Joey Barton, Gene has just tweeted out 23 seconds ago, bit of a nighttime reading for official Bradfords. Should they need it on this cold, chilly night? Joey Barton is a playground bully who shouldn't get back into the game after Bristol Rovers sacking.
But do you think that if he comes to us, if a kind of manager like that would then come to Bradford, do you think he's going to come in all guns blazing and be in that kind of way with players? Or do you think he's going to take time and get his feet under the carpet first?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? If they say tomorrow or Sunday, they say, right, we've got Joey Barton on a 3-year deal, I think the Twitter hashtag would have a meltdown over it.
Because he's got a bad reputation.
Yeah.
But is that a really bad thing if it wins games? Because ideally, at the end of the day, we want to win games and we want to get promoted.
Yeah, true. So I need to get that list back up again. So with the list, wherever I put it, there it is. So the list, here we go. So the current favourite is Graham Alexander. He's managed Salford, if my memory serves me correctly, but he got him to 5th and then he got sacked. After that, Joey Barton. So personally, out of the list, what I've seen, I would be happy with Graham Alexander, Robbie Fowler, David Artell, or Nathan Rooney.
What's your reason for Robbie Fowler? I'm not questioning it because I don't know enough about his managerial record.
Same here, but looking at news articles and stuff, he's been doing all right in Saudi Arabia. He won the manager of the month before they sacked him.
I mean, that's very difficult to gauge, isn't it? Because it could be that the Saudi owners or these particular ones, because they're pumping a lot of money in, are very trigger happy. So hard to.
Because I think they sacked Robbie and then they brought in some ex-Real Madrid manager or player.
Do you think Robbie Fowler's going to come to us, though?
I know we had discussed this yesterday, but with Bradford City, it's actually, like Callie's been saying, it's a fan club. It's a good club. We're not like Scunthorpe or Southend. And I know people slag the owner off, but we're well sound. So if Root puts his hands in his pockets and in January actually throws money at the club, we could actually probably get into playoffs.
We are a good club, but I don't think the job is a great prospect because it seems like managers are kind of loath to maybe stake their reputations in a job where in 9 months, 16 months time, you're going to be out of the job, and the expectations are too high, and the slightest slip up, as we've seen in the last sort of couple of managers, 2 or 3 managers. So I agree. As a club, we're a great club, and aside from a few sort of like you get at every club, I think we do have a good fan base on the whole. That side of it, I don't think is in question, but it's more a case of like, is the actual job itself, not the club, but the job? Is that something that would put managers off?
You're on about like the owner, for example, and the fans who.
Well, not just the owner, but the kind of like the way that the managers haven't lasted long, because obviously once it goes a little bit sour, then obviously the fans are quick to turn and stuff. So it's less about the stature of the club, more about what control over budgets he's going to have, how much of a budget, and with a potential kind of tinderbox, that can explode at any point. If it goes wrong, it's somebody really going to want to come and stake their reputation on that.
Because, like you're saying, their reputation, we had before Derek Adams, the dinosaur, people call him, the Scottish angry dinosaur, I like to call him, who peed off quite a lot of fans. But you got him in, and then you got Mark Hughes. Well, after the space yesterday, I got thinking, what did actually Mark Hughes actually do for the club, apart from doing skills on touchline and fans going mental about it?
Well, he took it from 15th, didn't he? And got to the playoff semi-final.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Charlie. That's cool.
I think he massively increased the profile of the club. There's a lot of players we signed who, do you think they would have come if they didn't have Mark Hughes? Mark Hughes was a massive selling point, not just for transfers, but getting people through the door. Loads of people were talking about it, not just Bradford fans. If say we appointed, David Artell, for example, nobody would be talking about it apart from League Two fans and maybe Crew fans, Bradford fans. But if you asked a bloke down the pub about David Artell, they'd go, who? But if I said, if when we got Mark Hughes, people were going, how have you done that? Or, I can't believe he's there. He massively increased the profile. And improved us, of course, got us to the playoffs, which is unbelievable.
It's like, were you point there, but it's like working as a binman for council and stuff, just like walking down the road and speaking to members at public, like wearing my Bradford City shirt. Oh, it's Mark Hughes, your manager. How have you ended up with him? It's like, yeah, it's Mark Hughes, he's all right. And then, like, other week, people asking me, oh, they sacked him. I went, yeah, he's gone. He went, no, that's a shame. So, like, Mark Hughes is a big name, but I know, like, big names, like, I don't know, Parky at Wrexham, for example. Parky's a big name, innit? And, like, oh, you play with Parky. And they signed all these players, like, League One players, probably because of parking, also the money, greedy buggers. But it sometimes just frustrates me, like, with managers who we get. Can you imagine, like, if Gary Bowie at the club, do you reckon, like, with you, Charlie, saying there, about, like, having Gary Bowie at the club, for example, do you reckon we would bring in Walker and stuff like that?
I think, personally, Walker was a lot of Derek Adams' influence behind him being at the club, and then I think he sort of fell in love with the club during his loan. I don't think that were too much to do with it, but perhaps, like, in hindsight, things didn't go exactly to plan. But if you look at it, it was a statement that we made having Mark Hughes in, a massive statement of intent. And I think that's, the culture of the club is something that needs developing, not just what we do on the pitch. And I think Mark Hughes did a lot for that. But, I hate to bring his name up in every sentence, but, the likes of, like, David Artell, we need someone, or the Cowleys, we need someone who can come in and sort of say, this is what I want to do. And they need to stay there long term. and create an identity for the club. We don't have an identity. It's like, I don't know if I mentioned this on the space yesterday or when I mentioned it, but, you know, say you're talking to like a Millwall fan, for example. When the average person talks to a Millwall fan, they'll go, who do you support? Oh, Millwall, you know? And then the average response to that will be, oh, I fucking hate them. When you tell someone you support Bradford, they'll go, oh, Bradford. You know, maybe they'll talk about the cup run a few years ago. That's it. And it's a lack of identity at the club that, you know, I feel like we need. So there's, you know, somewhat a problem in that when we talk about Bradford, there's nothing that comes with that. You know what I mean? That's what I think.
Right. Have you got any last words, Miss Callie?
Yeah, I want to know, I don't know what you guys think, what happens if no manager comes forward and we've got and we don't find anybody? Does Truman just carry on?
Possibly. Or they might get another caretaker to replace the caretaker again.
I'm just, I don't know what other people think, but I'm a tad worried now, and just due to the fact that what if nobody wants to manage us? Are we that bad of a club? I mean, I obviously don't think that, but do you know what I mean? Do all these managers that are in line now think that? Is it going to affect us, the fact that Cowley has turned us down?
I think there's a manager there. Obviously, I don't know how many have applied, but it seems like quite a lot of people have applied, according to like newspapers. And
you see, if they've applied, why is that? That's where I think the club's going wrong. They should be then saying to the fans, "Well, this manager wants to do it, and this manager wants to do it." Do you know what I mean? Maybe that would take a lot of the hate that's out there at the minute.
The problem is, if Bradford tweet out, Callie has applied for the job, for example, obviously that will, like Bristol Rovers, Gillingham, and so will go, oh, Callie's applied for a job. Let's try headhunting her. Try to get her over here, like they did with the player, Summit Williams. Apparently, Bradford had it all sewn up, didn't they? Then Gillingham came along and nicked him.
Right.
Right, guys. I'm going to do that. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. If you also want to follow us on social media, Bradford City Up the Chickens on Facebook. Charlie, aka The Paraders, he will be doing a space tomorrow after the game, time pending. Give us a follow on other podcast services, Spotify, Apple Music, and if you're in America, if you're somehow listening to in America, because I know we've got quite a few people in other countries listening to us, you can also listen on iHeartRadio. Wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
See a somersault now, you'll get a double one. City to